Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tea Time with Kitty. Thank you to everyone for joining in today. And we're going to get started in just a second. Welcome, welcome. Giving everyone a second to get all logged on so we can get our discussion started. I do want to give a reminder now, as well as at the end of this session, that Tea Time will take its season break and will return the Wednesday after Labor Day. Let me just check that again. Hey, sis. So let me just check my calendar one more time for that date. And that date will be Wednesday, September the 6th. So 9/6, hey Shamika, is when tea time will resume. And it's much needed because I am definitely in a season. Hey, niece, I'm definitely in a season. So, we're going to talk a little bit about a season. I had started the chat on the wrong one. So, I put season as a topic, but we're actually talking about the different seasons and how do you deal with those not so good seasons? Because, we're always talking about the good season and the happy things that come with such a good and great season. But how do we really cope when we know that it's a season? Like when we can look out the window and see the rain pouring down, but no, we still have to go to work or we still have to go to groceries. We still have to deal with in that season, right? So, yeah, I'm glad it worked. I actually was working, then got off work, had to send a few more emails, and then jump right on. So definitely, definitely, definitely. So let me just go over a few things. I first and foremost, I was in the moment of crushing all over Nala, which I am going to still do her birthday post because Nyla has her hair and nails appointment tomorrow, and then she has a dinner on Friday, and then she has her pool party. Hopefully the weather stays still for Saturday, right? So I definitely want to give a big old, big old, big old shout out to Nyla. She'll be turning a big four on this Saturday, 4 years. So awesome, so everything. The next shout out I want to get in my very own. It's a great, 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 great thing to have a great granddaughter, right? Not a great granddaughter, but a granddaughter who's great. Two granddaughters that's great in every way. Yes, thank you, Sherelle. But it's even more important to recognize when your children are great, right? So, with that being said, thank you, Chucky. With that being said, I would like to shout out my daughter. My daughter, attorney. I think she's been barred since 2019. I'm pretty sure she'll correct me if that's not the case. She's has received her first license, which was in Maryland in 2019. And as of today, she is now a licensed attorney in Washington, D.C. So shout out to my daughter, still striving in spite of what's on her plate, in spite of her challenges. And you know how we look at our life to be this way, but we got to thank God for where it is. So shout out to her. Shout out to my niece Sierra, who's celebrating her 21st birthday today. Shout out to my sister Tamika, one of the most loyal tea timers who will be celebrating her birthday with Nala on the 28th. And when I was thinking about Nala today, because she got so many Leo aunts, but I was thinking about that Leo aunt of Mika today and just how Nala is truly a July Leo. I'm waiting for some more of that August, that Leo period to come out. But she is truly a July Leo. So she could not have had a better person to celebrate her birthday with, but it could not have prepared the family even more of what's in store with growing up Mika, right? And then my cousin Trail, my favorite, just celebrated her birthday this past Saturday. So happy birthday to her again. And August, which is a very dear month to me. I always give shout outs with so many people on in my family when their birthdays land on the same day. But this month is the month that everybody's birthday, some of the closest people to me are Leos in the month of August as well, right? So I'm going to give him a shout out because Tea Time will not be present for August. And I want to say happy birthday to all the Leos, whether you're a July Leo or August Leo, because by the time we get back from Tea Time break, it will be Virgo season, right? So first and foremost, the number one special Leo in my life forever and ever and ever is my son. My son will be celebrating his birthday on August the 8th. My dad will be celebrating his birthday on August the 10th. Shout out to our President Barack Obama, who is also a Leo. Heavenly birthday to my pastor, who was a Leo. My assistant pastor is a Leo. Have two sisters, two of my closest sisters. Diamond and Midget would be celebrating their birthday. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize my little brother who I always shout out my little brother Love because he's always been like the closest to me. But I would say my companion and my gossip buddy is no one other than Christian. So charge it to the heart. I mean, charge it to the head and not the heart if I miss giving you a direct birthday shout out. But definitely, definitely, definitely happy birthday to all of my Leos. I hope that your days are as special as you. I don't think I actually said Diamond and Midget name, or you all know better as Shern, but I want to make sure that I got a chance to say everybody name who means so much to me as we go into this August month in this Leo season. So happy birthday. So now to the topic, the topic is season. I am in a season, right? I am in a season, but I must thank God first and foremost for a sound mind and to be in a position to get through a season. So I want to hear from you all when you are in that season, because they always sometimes say, well, hey, you're either in a season, coming out of season, going into a season. I don't really know too much of the coming into it, but I definitely know when I'm in it. I definitely look back over things that I have done. So I guess that means the going into part that I have done that makes that season come. But then some things just come naturally in the season, just come. So if you are dealing with a season, right, it could be in your finances, it can be with you trying to get your next master's degree, it could be with parenting, it could be with relationship. It could be with it could even be with your job and your career, right? It could be in so many. So my son had a post yesterday that said, and this post was so for me yesterday. But the post said, let's see, where did it go? Boss up in silence because you already know your haters are watching, right? So I'm not really one who speaks the term of haters because, like, I like to live my life that if I ever needed CPR, it would be a waiting list. But contrary to belief, regardless of how good you are to people and how pleasant and sweet and nice and all those good things that you try to be, no, actually, after today, Mika, thank you for joining. No matter how you try to be, you're going to still interact. Really don't like that word haters, but if someone can give me a different word, please chap it in. But you're going to find people that's disturbed by your next season, and they will try everything against you to deter you from going into that season as peaceful as possible. So for you, tea timers, and I am not going to hold you long because my goal is to wrap up today at 5:40. I'm going to give you a minute back in your 24-hour day. So that's my goal. So tell me about your season. How do you know when you're in a season and how do you cope with that season, right? Because sometimes we don't get to just shut down and deal with it. How do you know? That's the right word. Just tell them to take it up with Jesus. Definitely take it up with Jesus. But when you're in that season, whether it's financial, and when we talk about a financial season, do understand that you can still have an outstanding credit score, right? You can still make the ideal amount of money, but you may be in that financial season where, like, where did this money go? I spent that. I've really been spending that much money. So I want to hear from you. What does that season look like? There might be a decision that you're pressed to have to make really soon. Do anyone have a season that they can relate to? And that they can help me and the other tea time viewers get through. What does that season look like? We all know that we definitely should stay prayed up. And that's why it's so important to pray in advance and pray for others, because sometimes we can get so sunken into that season that we're not even thinking about praying. I normally know I'm in season when it seems nothing is aligning. I feel like that with the dating right now. And like I said, it could be relationships. Um, in one, going into one, coming out one, so many things. It's hard. I typically want to rush through the season, but when I'm shown that's it. I'm sorry, when I'm shown it, God slows down and embrace it. That's so true. So true. You have to embrace it because although it's really challenging, like any test, the outcome of it is that we want to be able to pass it and we want to be able to learn from it, right? Do anyone else have any techniques? We talked about praying. Let's talk about owning it. How do you own your system on your season? Do you ever sit back and say, hey, I got myself into this season, right? I got myself here. My car can be repossessed any day because I choose to take this trip when I knew I wasn't financially able to take it. So now I'm in this season where it's all this unlimited stress and I just don't know what to do. How are we coping with the season? Because the thing about a season is some seasons we play a part, like some of it is part of our own, but some of the seasons that comes to us and it can get us off guard and we could not have did anything to contribute into that season. I start preparing um I start preparing for where I want to go or be. Definitely so important. Yes, I can accept it, take accountability, and definitely apply lessons learned. That is so important. Applying the lessons that are learned. Anyone else, when you feel like you're in a season and that alignment really meant a lot because it just seems like everything is just just in a spot. Like everything is just, hey, how did we get here? I am in my season, and for the first time I have been able to recognize it. I've been able to take ownership over it, and I am able to prepare myself to come out of it. Like, what will that look like, right? One thing I learned is when you get in this season, everybody is not a safe person to talk to, right? Everybody is not a safe person to talk to. So when you're going through that season, as well as anything in life, please refrain from sharing everything with everybody. I like to think of myself as transparent. um, I admire my sister Mika so much for her transparency, but sometimes people will take in your information just to do the wrong thing with it, right? Why are we so envious of people that we will plot against people? You know how you'll see people post things like, they don't even like each other, but because they don't like me, they all come together. Those things can be so true, right? And the one thing that my daughter has taught me to be aware of, that it's real. So no matter about, I'm going around here gloating and floating on a lifeboat, and I'm so happy and I'm so smiling. And my whole philosophy is I ain't done nothing to you, so I should be fine. But that's just not the case in today's society. So the one thing I want you all to take from this in your season is you don't have to be vulnerable with everybody. Have your safe people that you can go to, have a conversation with, and leave it there. Everybody don't have to know. Stop connecting with people so quick. Stop connecting with people so quick. Because see, I'm in my season, so I'm talking about it, right? Stop connect. When you are dealing with people, put people on a pedestal. Putting people on a pedestal. Make sure you watch what pedestal you're putting people on. And these are two types of people I'm going to talk about. When your relationship has ended with someone, chances are you can lose that family and you can lose those friends, right? Another scenario, when you connect with people at work too much, these are people that you work with, right? They are people that you work with. They are not your friends, right? And sometimes you could have had a friendship with someone and start to work with them and you see otherwise, right? So make sure that you're being very conscious with those two different areas in your life. And my daughter has showed me so much about taking in people so much, because when you take in people, you're taking in your spirits. I know I had to tell my youngest daughter that, she's still struggling with staying on the right track. Thank God it's given her some sense of lining up now, but it's still plenty of work to do. But she's always trying to bring people over my house, always. And one time it was late, and the mother in me and the softest in me let one of her friends stay the night. Nothing bad happened that I know of. But my daughter reminded me, when you're bringing people into your house, your space, your season, you're bringing everything that they have going on with them. And now I see why my pastor would say, when people say, "Oh, I'll pray for you." No, go ahead and pray for yourself, because you got to be careful of who you let pray and pray. So we pray and prey over you, your household, your children, your finances, your relationship. Make sure that's known, right? So, and I thought about that, and I'm real big on spirits. Like, I would talk about spirits all the time, about, when we are sometimes shacking and fornicating, and all those spirits that's in our house, and then we have no understanding why as soon as you touch our daughter titty, she ready to eat some coochie, or as soon as you blowing our son Nick, he ready to bend his butt over, and we wonder where those demonic spirits come from. But it's all in the air, but we thought it was okay because we were grown, right? So make sure not passing judgment on anyone. If that's the space you're in, just make sure you owe God a prayer every time you wake up and operate in that morning, because you know that you went to sleep in sin. So God, I'm going to need you to cover me, because we all are trying to get to marriage. Most of us are not just doing it just because, hey, I just like, no. Some of us are doing it because in these days and time, you don't just say, hey, this is Baba Jean and Shelton daughter Kitty right here, marry her, and they bring their son up and he rich and he got it is not happening that way. So we have to kind of give and get a little bit all at the same time. So be mindful of that. So, and I let her know, oh, why they can't come over? Because I said so. It's not a whole bunch of thought in it, because I don't know this child, right? She just met this child because she got new friends all the time. So I don't know this child. So when I'm bringing them in here, I'm subjecting them to everything, right? So although I'm in a very secure environment, it allows people to know how to unsecure your environment, right? Because then we have to think about it. I was just at a really big cookout. I think it was a Metro cookout on Saturday, and it was really nice, an older crowd, and the person whoever threw it, they had the porta potty out in the yard, so people didn't have to go in. But at the same time, do you know how vulnerable you subject your household to by just letting people have an address? Just to let people know how you come in and out. So it's just so many things, right? And it was really nice, no complaints. But when you're doing something that big with so many people, rent a space at the park. Go to Watkins Park, get you a shelter number, and have them people come there. Make sure we are being intimate only with those who are intimate to us. Make sure that we are being intimate only with those who are intimate to us. So if I have a party and I want to invite all my co-workers, half of them can't stand me, half of them don't know why, half of them, are dealing with their own demons, half of them are bringing somebody that I don't know. There was a lot of halves I know, but I should have broke it down better. But you all know where I'm going at, because someone had an event, and I admire the fact that on her invitation she put, this event is only for those who are invited. It's only for the, because I know y'all Tea Time delivered me from this at the beginning of Tea Time, thinking that I could bring 50 people everywhere I go. But now Tea Time gave me the wisdom to let me know that it wasn't okay. And I'm learning and I'm paying attention to things, observing things. And it definitely is not a good fit to invite everybody everywhere. Everything ain't for everybody. Matthew 7:6. We gotta stop giving our pearls to swine. Oh, the pig. Oh my God. Everyone doesn't appreciate the good you're giving out. That goes for good advice, good opinions, and good wisdom. All of those things. All of those things, right? And thank you so much for dropping that in the chat, Mika, because that's so important, right? And I really understand the importance of. Thank you, sis. I really appreciate the importance of. Excuse me, you guys. Just want to make sure when another message came in. Okay, got it. I really want to stress the importance of what's okay for me does not have to be okay for you, right? So we have to stop changing our lives, shifting our season to make people comfortable in their season, right? So take care of you in your season. It's so valuable, it's so important. You owe it to yourself. Anyone else, as it relates to season, jump right on in. when you're in your season, like what is something that you take from it? What is something that you're learning from it? Where are we going at? Because hey, when I go and get through this season and come back and ready for tea time, I'm just so glad that I had already prepared to do tea time, to take a break from tea time, because now they're calling me in the office and they're trying to change things and they're trying to do things, and it would have definitely put a halt on what we were doing. But God, right? But God, I had already spoke that tea time was taking a break. And I'm just so glad that the words was deposited in my mouth so I can get through that season. Because see, people only want to make you stumble. You'll be amazed how someone may have sit back and watched tea time, because so many people, and I thank you all so much, tell me that even if they're not able to get on live, they go back and read it or they go back and view it and they look through the chats, they give me feedback. I appreciate it all week long. I am getting responses from tea time. Yes, learning to put yourself first is so, and I never had the opportunity because I was a parent before I was grown. So I never had the opportunity. Learning boundaries are so important. So it probably took somebody to say, hey, this tea time is going good for her. Hey, she telework. Let's put her in the office on Wednesday. And yeah, yes, you had to. Thank you, sister. Let's put her in the office on Wednesday, right? And but God behold, that's a season. So I could be in that office every Wednesday, right? But my daughter has therapy on Wednesday, right? So based on the good benefits that DC government offers and me submitting her medical information, I can still have her therapy session, take my leave, and still be back here in place. But while the summer, I'm shifting her days, I can still be the employee that I need to be for my job, set an example, stay positive, and still be here for my tea time. This is my therapy right here. This is my therapy right here, right? We ain't getting on here tearing anything down or anybody down. This is our therapy right here to get what's in store for us. Shout out to Radiance. She had her family pre-reunion. That's what we're going to call it, a family pre-reunion, because they got together to focus on the upcoming family reunion. It was wonderful. The food was delicious. My grandkids truly enjoyed it. And yes, you're such a yeah, yeah. Try to be, sis. Try to be. So definitely want to give a shout out. Thank you so much for the invitation. But what's most important, what's most important is the fact that I have friends. I have sisters. You know, you all can't tell me anything about my sisters. I have friends. I have sisters that allow me to be a part of their family. And that's what it talks about with that intimate, being intimate with those intimate ones that's intimate to you, right? Because everybody don't need to be in that place, right? Because the last thing you want to do is invite somebody to your family reunion that's always turning up. Real sister, thank you. Real sister, right? Heaven sent. Everything comes from heaven is what? Real. See, that's what they missed in it. It was the heaven sent, right? Real. Because we've seen a lot of sister circles come and go, but it's the real sisters for me. And when you can invite somebody, and I say that so much because I think it was last year or maybe the year last year. Mika's sister had a birthday party. And Mika didn't invite me. Her sister invited me, right? And it feels good to be able to invite people. And you know they ain't coming to turn up. You know they ain't coming to steal, but most importantly, they ain't coming to get in a fight with nobody, right? And I know that we all can't control how things kind of go, but that means a lot that people would and people's family will extend. Her aunts call me their niece, her cousins, I'm their cousins, right? And that's the same thing she gets from my family when we're all together, right? So that's why it's so important to have the right people around you in the right season. Anybody else have anything else that coping that helps them deal with their season? Our season sometimes is faced with decisions. We may be trying to choose a different place to live. We may be trying to choose a different school for our children. But seasons happen, and just like we have summer, spring, winter, and fall. See, no, I'm sorry. Let me start over. Summer, fall, winter and spring, how they're revolving around and around and around. Sometimes so is our lives and the seasons in it. So I want you all to be encouraged throughout this summer. I want you all to be safe. Make good decisions. My people, make good decisions. How many more chances are some of us going to get? Let's make good decisions. I know when I used to be in that season, I'd go crying to God, God, your daughter back here again. If you just pay this, if you just give me the money to do this, I ain't gonna let it happen no more. It's me again, God. It's me again. And I just think that thank God that I had that relationship with him, that I knew him as my father. So he could say, here come Kitty again. Here she go again, short on this money again. But I just thank you that he was able to get me through all those seasons when I struggled financially, and I learned from it, and I made a mistake and I learned from it, but he kept me, right? In fact, sometimes you just have to breathe and pray through process. I'm definitely in a storm now, but I know you got it, sis. In the name of Jesus, we're touching an agreement. You got it, sis. Weather the storms, prepare and be ready for whatever calls the seasons are going to come. Sit in those seasons. God got us. Thank you all so much for encouraging me in my season. I feel like I got through. I feel that all of us who shared their seasons and what they're going through are already getting through, and we have already overcome. We trust, we agree, and we believe. And until Tea Time reunites again, I want you all to have a happy, safe summer. Enjoy your Labor Day. Spend some time with family. Make good choices and decisions. And if nobody else loves you, know that I, agape, love you through the Jesus who serves and protect me, and we shall resume again in September. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thanks for sipping with sister.